Take it away, Times Listen.
Okay, good evening everyone. So our idea was basically taking the news stories that we all read with New York Times anyways and being able to listen to those. So having an audio file that would allow you to have news stories on the go, whether that's biking or in a download format. So maybe you're on the subway and you want to have some stories ready to go for your morning or afternoon commute, whatever. So what we did was, for the purposes of the demo, we pulled in three categories. One being homepage, the other one is the stories most emailed, and appropriately so, technology. So we'll give you an example of how this works. So we go into whatever the stories are on the New York Times homepage, and in this case, we'll click on this one. So you can see here the details on the story, title, who's it by, date, little summary, and
Atlanta. Barbecue is on the grill and the blues band is tuning up to play songs about her and Kane outside of a large stucco building that used to be a display room for selling floor tiles on the north side of town here. If this is the way a presidential campaign ends.
So there's the audio portion. We put some other things, a link to a full article. You can like the button on Facebook. It doesn't do that. So, it references the news article. You can just say, just post it. Also, this was written as using jQuery mobile. It's meant to be a mobile app. And I guess the last thing, one other thing to point out was for some articles where there are keywords, we also list those out, and you can do another round of searching based on those keywords. And then the plan was after this, then you can drill down and also get the audio files for these articles. But for now, it just takes you to the full New York Times article.
Right. We used basically two APIs from the New York Times. One was sent to us. It was sent to us as a JSON, so we can just hack it together. But so the idea is it would run similar to the New York Times iPhone app, or I guess the Android has one too. So we linked to the New York Times feed, and then also we once we got the information out, we extracted keywords. And those were the inputs, or one can link to we link the keywords against the search API. So there, I guess fundamentally two different New York Times APIs that we're using.
yeah, and then the last thing was for the voiceover services we had pulled in actually from Apple's.
It's an Apple say command line utility. It's Python script runs it.
Great. Thank you, guys. Next up is Open Reader. And getting set up.
Flip it over?
Yeah, just flipping it over. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so, okay, this is Tom?
Yeah. Do you want me to hold
No?
it?
Okay, there we go. So this is, obviously here is my Google Reader feed, and as you know, it's a real pain in the ass to kind of read feeds and go through stuff in Google Reader. I primarily read feeds on a phone every day, and I get through about 200 blog posts a day in Google Reader. I work across all the blogs at the Times here, and in working with all the editors, I do a lot of exploration of it, helping them find interesting related feeds that are from interesting sources. And this column on the left here, where you manage your feeds and where you basically pay attention to what your reading diet is and what you're actually consuming on a daily basis, is really painful to use. So for a while I've always wanted to make something that pulled that out using the Google Reader API. So today I made something, I quickly named it Open Reader, and basically it uses the Google Reader API and pulls in, once you're authenticated with OAuth, it pulls in the list of all your subscriptions and all your feeds down the side. And that's about as far as I got today, was able to pull them in with all the data. But I was just about to be able to output all the information over here, so this is kind of static on that side. But basically, I want to be able to pull in just the basic information like the number of posts per week, the number of subscribers, when it was last updated and whatnot, and start to pull in a lot of that information. I'm not building this as a replacement to Reader. I want to know more about what I'm subscribed to and what I should actually unsubscribe from. And one of the best features about Google Reader for discovery purposes, and as we all know, discovery is probably the thing on the internet that's hardest to kind of crack. But Google Reader has a really nice feature that's very hidden, and I wanted to try to take advantage of that. So in going over to Google Reader, I'm going to go to like Ray Kurzweil's blog, right? Over here, and in the little drop down, you'll see on the side here, there's obviously you can view the details and the statistics about the feed, right? And that's the kind of the data that I want to pull in. But more importantly, there's this more like this. Oh, okay, there's none under his blog. Okay, let's pick a different one. How about the Times is opinionator blog? Let's hope there's something like that. So Google has a whole API for assessing related feeds. So because it's able to index the content, it knows what's publishing things like this. And so this is really helpful if you're looking for something very specific, like a specific blog around a specific disease or a specific ailment or a specific science topic. If you want to find all blogs, so like when I'm sitting with the blogger talking about global warming, we want to find, it's pretty easy to find the people who are well known, but it's not so easy to find all the people who are actually writing really great stuff and they're just not as well known. So we really want to kind of see a larger expanse of who's writing what, and this was a tool that I banged out to try to help with that. So.
Excellent. Thank you. Up next, we have Hack Congress. No, you're not? What's your OK Candidate, excuse me. OK Candidate with a nice logo. Oh, better.
Hello? So what we did was we made an OKCupid for candidates, because you can never figure out who actually to vote for, because so much political coverage is just about the horse race and who's ahead and who's behind, not about the actual policy issues. So the team is me, Albert, Ray, Ashwin, and then we had one other member, Daniel Bach, who had to leave early.
Here, can I interrupt for a second? There's the person that should be setting up over there is the events face mash. If you're around and can set up, or I'll take any volunteers.
So we're trying to find candidates you'll love.
Exactly. And so we didn't actually use any APIs, but there's a lot of research into the actual policy positions of the candidates behind it. And so what it does is we took OKCupid's matching algorithm, applied it to political policies instead of, I don't know, like random personality questions. And then we're going to have found answers for all the politicians, and then we'll give you a quiz to see who you match up the best with. So, yeah, someone volunteer or?
Me. Ooh. I do believe in evolution. I believe in evolution. This question is somewhat important. And what? I'm pro-choice. Pro-choice. Very important. Reduce. Reduce. Very important. Wow. No. Yes, I'm for same-sex marriage. Okay, the answer is actually more indicative of the question. That's good. Yes, I'm for same-sex marriage. And then the bottom, like, nerf herder answer. Yeah. This is very important.
So the middle one is,
I personally think the rest is not. I'll accept both. This is irrelevant. Raise tax rates and keep tax, yeah. Raise tax rates, raise and keep somewhat important. Which exists in the current form and by the same level of benefits.
Which project?
Except the bottom two.
I'm fucking Congress, but we can
And,
call it half Congress if you don't want to say that.
Oh, okay.
It's up to you.
Jesus Christ, dude. Is he in harmony? This is all. Only 10 questions. Christ. Legal immigrants. Okay, we're going to go ahead and test your algorithm. Deport them. Deport.
There I am.
Mandatory.
We can skip this. This is the last one.
Okay, yeah.
you can skip them too.
Okay,
if you
go
don't
ahead and
want.
skip. Let's get to the end. Oh my god, bullshit. I'll
We're gonna get
accept
Ron
maintain
Paul.
or increase. Along with abolish. Yeah, accept them all. And this is a very important issue.
You got Ron Paul.
That's like.
So the next step is we obviously want to let other people like check how we put it in positions, and those being somewhat contentious, I guess. And
Zero compatibility with Michelle Faulkner.
Crazy enough. And the app is right now just static HTML, and we use backbone.js to build it, but ideally we want to put in some sort of backend to store the answers and configure yourself other people to take the quiz too. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Next we have Hacking Congress. If you scroll down to the Hacker League list, it's the one all the way at the bottom. Hacking Congress. And if we could get Grumpy setting up over here. If Grumpy's around.
Real quick, we're open source on GitHub.
All right. Sweet. So this was kind of my inspiration. It's called thefuckingweather.com. You go there and it tells you the fucking weather. Also, this one, is the L train fucked? It's not. So those of you going to Brooklyn, awesome. So I made this site called fuckingcongress.org. That's what it's going to be called. This is who's responsible for the shit happening around you. Charles Schumer, Kirsten Gillibrand, and Carolyn Maloney. These are the representatives for this GPS location right here. So you can go, like if you're on a mobile phone, you can open this up, it'll tell you who your representatives are, how to tweet them, what their URLs are, and if you want to call them, bitch at them in person, it gives you their phone numbers. And so this was kind of just like a proof of concept going into more potential, which you will explain.
So Brian and I linked up. I think that the primary strength behind this that I'm really, really attracted to is that it's sort of a bridge to creating accountability with Congress for what's happening in their districts. So you can be on vacation in New York City, your home location, it's like you're registered to vote in Utah, but you see something that you think is unacceptable. You should be able to snap a picture of what's happening in Times Square and say, there's a guy that's taking a dump in the middle of Times Square, and like, I'm holding you responsible for this, Chuck Schumer, get your shit together. So what that does is that creates...
And you can see his smiling bug right there.
Yeah, so like, usually it's like, this guy's taking a crap on the street.
And you're just smiling about it, Chuck?
So it's a way to address the kind of, the way in which reality is kind of incongruous with reality. So everybody wants to make pretend everything's okay, but we know that it's not. So how do you create a sort of record that stays in the cloud, essentially, where Chuck Schumer's communications team is going to have to address it if there's a photograph tweeted at him of somebody taking a crap in the middle of Times Square. And even if you're not from Utah, if you're not from New York, you're from Utah, you can create that accountability because you're holding the congressional member responsible for what's happening in his district.
So is there gonna be like comments later? Like, can you comment on it, like congressman, like you are, you know, messing up?
Well, what we primarily want to do is, sorry, you tell me.
Well, yeah, you can, I don't know, like right on this site, because I'm trying to keep it really simple. So you can tweet at them or you can call them up. Things I do want to add, actually at the bottom, you can see, you can have, you see the committees that they're on. I also want to get like financial data on there, like who their top contributors are. So you can see, you know, oh, this person's voting for all the MPAA shit because they're funded by the MPAA. And just more accountability for what's going on in our government for the people who are actually representing us.
I think another good feature would be a link to their VoteSmart profile as well,
Oh yeah, so
which will give back their.
There you go.
getting all of the APIs to be able to communicate with each other with all the different IDs was a bit of a struggle. So that's like step 2 is basically translation layers between the API IDs of these candidates.
Yeah, I just want to say a plug really quick. Anybody who's having trouble in terms of like trying to get data to play nice, that's kind of what Dimitri in the back and I are focusing on, is trying to help people who have a priority in terms of developing an application. And if your priority isn't, or your center, your particular area of expertise is not working with data, we want to help to facilitate that process to like reduce friction for developers in terms of dealing with data. So as Brian mentioned, there's a few problems in terms of marrying the data from multiple different sources, including Sunlight Foundation API, the New York Times Congress API, OpenSecrets.org, and OpenCongress.org. All 4 of those are obviously like really rich sources. So if we can mass them up into one source, into one place, that would be fantastic, especially if you can access that in real time, in real space, and leverage that to create accountability. So if you want to tweet at Chuck Schumer and say, hey Chuck, I know that you're on the finance committee, but you know this issue is significant to me. Are you going to do anything about that? It's sort of, we're just reducing the friction in terms of enabling people to hold their government accountable.
Yeah, great work. Thank you.
And over here we've got Wumpy.
Oh
Might wanna spell it.
no.
Spell it.
It's so sloppy, but no R, W.
Hey Brian.
Yes.
Someone left something. Somebody left something in your bag. Yeah.
Which bag? Oh, that's wrong. You mean this bag?
Yeah, wait.
No.
Push up your back.
You sorry. I knew. Ring. I was gonna do it to you.
Too late. Drink, son.
One D pointed at
Oh, God.
This is from the judge.
Alright, yeah, we can only show one screen. So you can roll that.
All right, hi, I'm Will Vanderhoff. This is Andy New, and we also had participation from Aaron L. Doyle and my brother Rob Vanderhoff, who did this ridiculous logo for us. Lumpy is, I guess, how you feel when you're really like hungry, and yeah, it's just you feel miserable and you're looking for something to eat. So that's Lumpy, and he's hungry. So we have what we have going on here is jQuery Mobile is actually, well, we've already passed the asking for my permission to find where I am, but it's a full jQuery Mobile web app that is actually getting your location from the browser, HTML5 style, and then we give it a couple parameters here for how we feel about what we want to eat. Yeah, it's not really super pretty on this, but it looks a lot sweeter on a mobile device, and it comes up with that pretty spin wheel looking effect. But we have a whole bunch of options for categories for food. the quality of the place we're talking about going to, and price points. Yes. Thank you, Andy. And it's from there. It's a simple. It's a Foursquare search. We're gonna pull some data from, and we're gonna marry that with New York City. The health code ratings that everyone's seeing in the windows now. So we're still tweaking that a little bit, but that way we'll be able to rank these places up and down as to your search query, and eventually you'll be able to hit into one of these and get a little bit more data. Kind of ran out of time today, but that was our end goal, was to come up with articles from the New York Times. Which is actually already published inside of Foursquare's data set. So among that, we have New York Magazine and a couple other people that have already provided links to their reviews on their site. Yeah. Yelp reviews would also be coming into play here as well. We'd have the 5-star ratings, or the 1 to 4 rating for how much things would cost. So we should be able to put all of that up on one really quick to get to screen as far as. So this is just one of those, I really want food now. I don't want to think too hard. I'm just hungry. I'm grumpy. Get me some food. And it's basically a 3 or 4 clicks to get you to a good solid amount of information about where you should be eating tonight. That's about it.
Great, thank you. Here we've got FlixLink. Did I say that correct?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, it's in French, so 16. Yeah. Hi, so we did a image recognition application. I find that when I'm walking down the street and I see a movie poster, the first thing I want to know as an avid New York Times reader is, well, what does the New York Times community think of this poster, movie poster? So what we did is we used PixLink, which is our middleware of our company, LTU Technologies, and then we used the New York Times Community API, the Movie Review API, Twitter, and movie poster database for collecting all the movie poster images. And we made an application where you snap a picture of a movie poster or in the New York Times, and then it links you up directly to a page with user rating. Oh, and I could show you that right here. So this one is of Midnight in Paris, just because we're all Woody Allen fans. And then you have, oh wait, this one doesn't have the user rating on it. There is a simulation issue versus the iPhone, so we can show you a better demo when we take a picture of, okay, so this is that. You're taking the picture. And then it hooks up to this page where you can then press on one of those buttons and you get the reader reviews or the movie details or the overview or right on the New York Times. Yep. Word. So that works swimmingly. Also, Adam and Pierre did a cool thing where you can go into your Twitter and you can take a picture there, or you could just go into your camera phone and then tweet the image at LTU PixLink, which is P-I-X. Can you guys move that right there? That's how you spell it, at LTU PixLink. And then we return to you the link that you can go to with all the information of that image that you tweeted to us. So there's really no excuse to be up and in the know of everything about the latest movies.
It's only movies?
Well, for now, yeah. But we can do whatever you want. I mean.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, and also, what else were we missing? Oh, and then it's all HTML5. We used mobile HTML5 boilerplate, and then Smoke.js for this little loading thing. It's just this like framework agnostic type thing where you can make easy notifications. And did we use anything else? Adobe for the icons, and that's about it, right? Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Hope you guys liked it.
Outstanding. Thanks, Bill. Thanks. movie application, Click Times.
Yes, I'm Darren Levy, and this is Bert Hartman. And after they get funded, they're going to want to buy us. This is this coming out? Hopefully. No. Well, that's what I get for using a PC. Oh. How do I get it on?
Should have Times Watch setting up over there while we got that. Oh, and let me take a minute also, while there's a lull, to introduce our judges. Rob Spector from Twilio. Abe from Hacker League. And Salim, the New York Times developer. Thank you, judges. Okay, looks like you're in business, or almost in business.
Where are you on this list? Okay, here we are. So, when you go to Rotten Tomatoes, they have 90% fresh. But how do you know you're not aligned with those 10% that didn't like that movie? So, what we did was we basically pulled in all the reviews of just a couple to start off with of the New York Times movie reviewers. And basically, if you just click, if you like the movie or you didn't like the movie, and basically in real time is going to change to tell you how similar you are to these people. And so you know that if you like a bunch of movies that they liked, then you probably should continue reading their reviews. And that is, and the other thing we're going to do is add a Netflix, so that all you have to do is log in through Netflix, and because you already reviewed a lot of movies there, it's going to tell you what reviewers you are most like. And there you go. I think it's pretty simple. Any questions?
What's it called?
It is called Click Times. It was going to be called Quickster Times, or Quick Times, but I changed it to Click Times.
Who are those two people?
The critics. Who are they? The critics. New York Times critics. New York Times film critics.
Could you describe your stack?
Yeah, sure. I'm using Rails, and I would have used Heroku if things were going a little better tonight. So, yeah.
We'll probably be up at clicktimes.heroku.com eventually.
Absolutely.
How did you determine whether they liked the movie or didn't?
Well, there's something called Critics Pick, and that's within the API, so it was just a 1 or 0. Okay.
Great, thank you, Click Times. Up here we've got Times Watch. Switch to Newswatch. Newswatch, Times Watch. Okay, it's going to take a second to flip the screen.
Hang on, this is going to be hard if I don't phone this. All right, my name is Morrison, this is Robert, and... Hi. Hello?
Takes a second. Keep talking.
Okay, so at some point it'll kick in. Anyway, so my name is Morrison, this is Robert. We did Newswatch, which is pretty much what happens when you... Take that one.
Hey, oh good, that sounds wonderful. Okay, hi, my name is Morrison, this is Robert, and when I came in today I didn't know what I was going to do. The lead speaker basically said, hey, we got watches, do something with them. So that's what we did. There's a wonderful product called Impulse, which is a Bluetooth-enabled watch. So pretty much you can get data from anything that can send Bluetooth data.
So since I'm familiar with Android, Robert's familiar with Android, and I'm part of the Scarlet One open source group, we figure, what the heck? Let's do something with Android and put some wonderful New York Times content onto the device. So what we ended up doing is something really simple, which was we took the Newswire API and used
JSON library.
And the JSON library to create pretty much a way of running something on the app, on the phone, on an Android phone. We get the content and then it will get pushed out to the watch, as headlines or whatever. So let's try this out. So, let's see if we can see this. This is what I did. Right.
Oh, there it is.
And we have content.
That's the most recent business article from the Newswire.
Okay. Great, so that's pretty much it. We were thinking of doing more things with it. The problem is that as I was looking through what was available with regard to tooling, a number of the tools were in the cloud, so I had to do stuff locally, which was, shall we say, the documentation on it consisted of a bunch of forum posts. Even worse, I wanted to say, hey, New York Times would want to have their branding on there, but now I have to create a binary file that doesn't handle, because this is a 1 megabyte watch, it's not going to handle PNG or anything else that you download normally find. So I have to convert that. Of course, finding out the conversions on the cloud means that I have to do it myself, which means not happening tonight. So that's about it.
Right.
So,
well, although I guess it would be close enough. The proximity is in your pocket, phone in your pocket, and the watch on your wrist. It could update.
Right. Yeah.
On it could update the article as the Times is updating.
Right. Or we could create filters or whatever of important articles that you wanted to do. So that was the intent. So that's it. Thanks. You got it. Yep, and it's only got like a 92 by 1, I forgot what it was, 1 something resolution screen. It is though 24-bit color. Go figure. It's got not that many pixels, so think about it. It's only 8 bits a bit, and only 3 RGB, no alpha.
Okay, up next we've got what's next. Yeah, it'll take a second to switch over.
So we built What's Next. The idea was that you checked in somewhere on Foursquare, you want to know what's next. So Foursquare offers you recommendations for other venues like the one that you're at. But if you're eating like at a Thai restaurant, getting a recommendation for another really good Thai restaurant is probably not what you need. So what we decided to do was use the recently launched, I guess it was launched today, the New York Times Events API to say, what's a cool New York Times recommended event near where I'm at. So we built it in Sencha using Google App Engine. So you can see we have it on an emulator and then on a web browser, so it kind of does both. So it just lets you log in here with with Foursquare. So then it brings up and says my last check-in was at this restaurant. I can either see what's next that I want to do, or if it's like, oh, you know what, that was a while ago, let me check into somewhere else. You can do check-in near you. So it's like, you know what, after I had dinner, I went and had some ice cream, some at Cold Stone. So you check in, it posts the check-in to Foursquare, but then it takes you to the list of categories for the New York Times events around you. And so you can say, you know what, I want to see a show now. So you click on theater, gives you the list of shows. You can click on that, and then you have the direction, you have the info to get to the show, and once you get there, then you can check in right from the app. Just so you can see from a different perspective, here's the web view, same thing. You can just, so you know what, you were at Snug, and that's where you want to see what's next. From there, so you do what's next. Same thing, you get the list of categories, and we filter these by results, number of results near you, and if there aren't any in the category, we don't offer. So this is really brought down to the radius where you're at. So you click in, say okay here, you get the information, then you can check in to once you arrive at that event.
So does the place you're currently checked in have any bearing on what it recommends you to go to?
No, like
Okay,
as far
so-
as I'm eating.
So it could recommend me like a Thai festival, even if I was just at a Thai
Yes.
restaurant? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay.
Right, but you're picking the categories. Right?
Okay,
So because you're selecting what's next, like if you do what's next, and one of the options is a food festival, you probably won't choose that category.
What's the geofence around your location? Is it just radius or?
Yeah, it's I think we did 1,000-meter radius,
Okay.
which is what I think is the default Foursquare uses as well. So we mimic that.
Okay.
Outstanding. And here we've got is tacos equal happiness? The
It
real
used to be,
name?
it used to be tacos equals happiness. Now it's called happy stance. Tacos equals happiness was kind of a fixture name, but we stopped that. So it was the movie Blues for a second. So basically, what we did is we ran sentiment analysis on 120,000 tweets that we collected over the course of the afternoon, and then we ranked tweets near each subway stop, and we have 90,000 tweets. So these are the happy subways, and then if you click that, that's the sad subways. So don't
might not be right, because people are not happy about the G.
You know, they are because no, they are because they're wearing their skinny pants and they're going out to bars on Saturday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Shame, my friend.
So here is the subway lines. Here are the actual subway stops. So you can see Port Authority just sucks, right? And we have this fun thing where you can zoom out so you can actually kind of see it. And then we got real bored because we were like finished. So the next thing we did is we collected them again at the afternoon, and you can just see that it gets slightly better at the Port Authority because people I think are going home from their jobs or something like that. So the next one we have, this is the B, which is also very funny. So you can see Yankee Stadium was having a blast of a time, and then later on, not so good, not so much. But you can see kind of Uptown is not so happy. I don't know, and then once you get out to Brighton Beach, it's like, what are you doing, On average, the tweets are happy. People are happy in New York, I guess, is the other thing that we found. And then I'll hand it over to him.
Yeah, this is a fun little thing. Yeah, this is just crazy messing around. It's rotated in a strange way, so it doesn't quite look right, but it was just a kind of, it's just shaded by how happy they are. I didn't get to do this for night and day, but that's Manhattan at that strange angle.
Right, and so the center of Manhattan is not very happy.
Yeah, Union Square and
It gets shitty out here.
Court Square, nothing happy apparently.
Yeah. So, what's it called again? It's called Happy Stance. Happy Stance.
Is that Twitter handle yet?
We haven't deployed it yet because it's a hack day. So.
You said you had like how many million tweets?
Well, no, we didn't have millions. So the training data, because these guys wrote a paper at Stanford about it, and basically the way that you train your classifiers, you search for emoticon happy and emoticon sad,
Right.
and those are your happy and sad tweets, and then you just rank it against that. And so what we had is we have, we have 26 megabytes worth of tweets, which is how much we could grab from the streaming API, and then we have for every subway stop we have 100 tweets. There's 486 subway stops, so it's 48,000 times 2 for 9 days. So it's 100,000 tweets that we're running sentiment analysis on. So
did that take a while?
It's pretty fast. I mean, it's not fast enough that you can do it on the fly, right? Because you have to. Well, first you got to get your training data, and then you got to scrape the Twitter API. But for every subway stop, it's kind of slow. So this is all stashed in a database, and when we put it live and set up our Twitter account, we will run like a back-end job. So what we're running here, this is CSS transforms, straight HTML like your father wrote, and just a simple Rails app with 2 routes. And I think the homepage is Raphael, and the Voronoi experiment is D3J. And jQuery, standard fun times.
Cool. You said you rolled your own Bayesian classifier?
Yeah, from the paper that they wrote at Stanford. But it's just a formula, right? No, it's in Ruby. You can do it. Yeah, I mean, Ruby is fast sometimes, so. But Ruby's good at strings and hashes. That hash algorithm in Ruby's really fast, so it's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful work. Over here getting set up, we'll have Find In. Let me ask for the next couple of apps. Looking for Test Flip. Test Flip Around. We'll have you set up here. Excellent. And then after Test Flip, looking for Stomp Around. You'll be over there. Find It.
All right. So I also use the Twitter streaming API, but in kind of a different way. I came in thinking, what would it be like if you could control what you saw as far as what was being streamed from Twitter? And so basically the idea is you go in and you select certain regions anywhere in New York or anywhere in the world, and you save those regions and you continue to make however many regions you want. And basically what happens is in real time you're seeing tweets that are coming from the specific regions that you are creating. And so the idea was you track these certain regions and then you try to extract data from it. I came here with great aspirations of building an API on Natural Language Toolkit, but I ran into a few problems when I was trying to keep track of all the different regions that were being selected. And whenever you're trying to calculate, is this specific tweet in this lat long, I had to run through so many different tweets that the JavaScript wasn't keeping track of which region I was in. So it took like 3 hours trying to get that to work, and then I finally got it to work, and it was already too late to implement the keywords. So you can see I had these tabs here for keywords and for the articles for the New York Times API that they released today on Geo and semantics. But as you can see, you can go through and look at tweets and where they are, and as you scroll over a specific tweet, it will pan to wherever it is. So that is pretty much it. So the stack I used was, Avian Flu is a guy from Nojitsu. He's a really cool guy. He came out in Twitter, which basically lets you deal with the streaming API, and I used the filter method, and you can basically give it a bounding box, and then it will give you back. Let's see where it is my server. You can see here that in real time it just keeps spitting out tweets, or should. So that's my node server spitting out the tweets, and it was really easy actually to implement it. It's as easy as just this stream, and then your bounding box, and then you just with socket.io spit the tweet out. And
you get rate limit?
You what?
You get rate limit?
No, like it's just I had it running all day and it hasn't stopped.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and you can actually put up to. So these represent the east and the southwest corner of your bounding box, and you can have up to, I think, 45 different bounding boxes is how many they allow, and you can also add in things like, let's see, I think you can track, let's see, 400 track keywords, 5,000 follow user IDs, and then actually it's 25 location boxes. So the streaming API is really awesome. I had a lot of fun messing with that. I was kind of sad that I didn't get the natural language toolkit stuff working, because that was actually kind of the key part for me, seeing how it works today. But it was still fun to see this happen in real time. I think it would have been really cool to tie it in with stuff that Brian was doing. There's so much geolocation data these days that, I mean, Twitter is one thing, but there's so many other services, and there's so many people starting to use smart devices, so there's just more and more geographic data coming out to be able to mine. So I think this, with something like this, is sort of just the beginning. So yeah.
Great, thank you. And this is Test Flip.
Thank you. My name is John. I have a financial background, and I spent some time in Merrill Lynch. I remember some of the days I spent day and night trying to structure deals to make it work, especially trying to help in trouble companies trying to make a comeback, structure some ways for maybe a takeover or a partnership like that. So I try to apply those philosophy in what's happening here. Specifically helping like low-code businesses that you find on Foursquare, such as low checking counts and low here now counts. My applications basically, please excuse the design, but I implement the mechanics of the idea. I can easily implement later on a skin or a CIS theme for it. Basically, you can run this. I imagine this. You can run it on the phone, and you just apply your geolocation, which I pre-populated for General Assembly, which I had this idea before. You submit your geolocation and it communicates through the API with Foursquare. I use a library for that, pretty old library that may account for the speed. What it's supposed to do is supposed to retrieve a listing of venues. What I did, what Foursquare does, it favors the popular trending venues on the top. What I did, I reversed the venue to favor the less popular cold businesses. As you can see, like here now, for like 282 bar and burger is 6, compared to Galapagos, Ospace, at bottom is 12. That's half of the business. So that's significantly, you have to worry about that. If you're aware on Foursquare, you should be worried about like you're wasting time and business time, because you're doing half of the business what you can be doing. So you present this to the user of the app running on the phone, and you can select like 282 bar and burgers, and basically you have the contact information. It will consume one of the Twilio APIs, and you just name your deal proposals. So of the venue proposing the deal, the leverage is for the consumer to propose a deal to the venue. So I can pre-populate this because I used it before to test it out. Like discount on coffee. I would bring 10 people to get the specified discount agreed by the venue business owner. Proposed to be like 20% off. I just put in my identity, my telephone number, something like that, my contact. And it will make a Twilio. I intercept supposed to make a call to my phone. I intercept to call my, hopefully it calls me. Well, it's not calling me. Oh, there it goes.
Just take a second.
My son.
It's there.
I can show the script I use. That's what they read from a tutorial. Like, hello, a prospective patron wants to propose a purchase deal for your business through testbook.com, which is posted there. Please go to www.testbook.com to see details with the code. I use that code because it pauses. Give a little pause when you read out the deal code. So that's the script that was reading out that you would hear on that. Basically, the ideal situation with SMS as well, and also calling the venue's phone number. As you can see, call my number if I intercept it for demo purposes. So when the venue business owner gets this message, it gets the code, and it comes back to the website, testbook.com, and just basically inputs the code. I have the page with but basically, you enter the code and you press a form that you just specify you approve or decline, and that if you approve, it give a call back to the because I cannot use it right now as a demo tutorial account. It's not approved for other telephone numbers. Basically, it calls back to the patron, prospective patron, about yes, it's been approved through SMS, ideally through SMS, and the tutorial phone call. And that's really the gist of it. The reverse deal proposal by the prospective consumer for co-businesses.
Cool, cool. I think the idea of price line for unpopular venues, kind of neat. How do you make the determination of what's unpopular? Like, not a lot of people are checking into Dwayne Reed, but I'd rather own that than the Santos Party House, if you get my meaning.
Well, right now, the criteria is for here now count, which is from Foursquare that gives the current patrons right there, right now, consuming the Foursquare APIs. As I showed before, I reversed the venue listing to favor the unpopular or cold businesses with low.
Right, but are you just showing nightclubs? Is that what we're seeing?
I believe it's just places you can eat, not any venue that you can eat.
Okay.
Nice, very nice. Up here, we've got Stomp Around. And there are three demos left. Hang in there, guys. We're almost at the end. He's got to put the screen off.
All right, it's political stump season coming up, so I registered StompAround.com instead of Jump Around. It was a 2-day hackathon. I'd have a rap for you guys, but it was only 1 day, so I didn't limit my features. Could use there we go, beautiful. All right, so welcome to StompAround.com. Basically, it's using the districts API, first of all, from the New York Times to find out the districts that are near a location on a map for your city council, community district, the state assembly, state senate. Also, it found the neighborhoods, but the neighborhoods didn't have attached to it any files that had the polygons for the latitude and longitude, so I couldn't really use it. But the other forms of districts, or levels they're called, had it. So if you wanted, let's say, to help somebody campaign for their own district, you would find a location, you'd click for, let's say, City Council 46, and that would take you to another page that would contain on it upcoming events for the location. So you would go there, hand out pamphlets, annoy people, whatever you'd want to do to get voters, and you would go there, basically. And that's Stomp Around in a nutshell.
What's the name of your? Yeah, you can just plug that right in.
Demand feature.
Okay, you're gonna have to. You need 2 hands to run the demo.
Test. So I got in a little late, so I kind of was on my own. And is it up?
Not quite yet.
Is that my fault?
Nope.
Okay. So I noticed in the New York Times articles search API, there's a dimension for if the article requires payment to view it. So I made a tool that scrapes that article from public archives and said, no, I'm kidding. I made a tool that will actually, you submit to it search terms, and I went the direction of also sort of requiring a year be specified too, because I think high value content that's in archives tends to be sort of historically relevant. This will all make sense in a second when I explain the use case. So basically it's kind of a filter that generates that data and then generates a channel for the user to buy. So the use case is a third-party blog. Let's say it's a blog about politics or, I don't know, something about where the readers would be interested in history or some kind of research, comes into that third-party place from a Google search. Then the terms they use to get there, if the terms include a year, let's say, the terms they use to get there will be used for the New York Times article search, and it will search articles that were published in that year, and then I just chose like 6 months before and 6 months after because it still might be relevant to that year, like if it's an upcoming election from the previous year. And then it offers the users the opportunity to buy it. So it's a tool for the New York Times to use to sell high-value archive content to users who are looking for specific content that they wouldn't otherwise realize was in the archives. And then if there's 10, the Times offers a 10 article bundle, so if there's 10 or more searches, then the bundle is offered too. So that's what I made, and if you could see the screen, all you would see is a beautiful rendering of a JSON hash. So you're not really missing much.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. You're not missing anything at all. But great work. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I worked on a theater app, a theater iPhone app that uses actually an internal API from the New York Times. Cheaters. So the data is actually from event source and from data from the New York Times that's curated. So we have, basically you can search for Broadway theater shows, off-Broadway, off-Broadway, sort of by critics' picks. There's a slider tool that's based on this new slider tool that's on the theater section front. So you can kind of filter by your mood and you know, if you want it to be kids friendly or musical or play. There's also a place where you can get special offers from the New York Times. And from the theater detail page, you can get, there's links to the review and the buy button. Yeah, so you can. So from here you can see a picture from the review and a link to that router's review, and you can go straight to the site to buy the ticket. And that's it.
Were there any demos that we missed? Excellent. We're going to do the judging as quickly as we can. Before I get into the main awards, the first place and the runner-up awards, we've got a couple special awards for apps that were done with specific APIs. And we also have one prize for, well, we have the prize of the watches that were donated to HackOn. The one hack that succeeded in getting something done with the watches gets the watches. The next special API prize, Twilio kindly donated Kindle Fire and they're giving it to the best use of New York Times APIs, and that goes to Pixlink. Clickslink. The other donated award comes from Mashery. Thank you for that. They're giving a Jambox, Jawbone Jambox, that thing, lovely stereo Bluetooth kind of thing, and it's going to Times Listen. And the runner-ups.
Right, thanks. You got one. There was the other, yeah.
The runners-up. And for these main prizes, we have Amazon gift certificates in increasing amounts. Runners-up get a little bit less than the grand champion does. Winners in, we have 2 runners-up. Find In is one. Go see Ben, he can get your details, or Vivian, she'll get your details. And the other runner-up is OKCupid. And the grand champion of the TimesOpen 2011 Hack Day is Happy Stance. You want to say a couple words?
Oh, I don't know. Where do we go?
Here's your information so you can invite to us.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone. We couldn't have done this without you. Thanks for spending the day with us.
Thank you, New York Times.